Hello everyone, my name's Tyler. Welcome to another episode of Fortnite Battle Royale Ideas. In today's video, we will be talking about an air drone. Today's video idea comes from Darnell Titley, who says, the user sets it up like a floor trap. A docking station appears with a flat-top drone above it and a control panel beside it. The user can access the control panel and fly the drone around as long as they are on the control panel. There is a limited range zone that the drone must stay in, otherwise it will continue flying in the direction it left the radius, unable to be controlled, eventually losing all connection and blowing up. The drone has a set amount of health, and if destroyed, players can create a new one at the docking station by supplying metal. Perhaps legendary drones can have a weapon that can be fired. Cardin Keys says, we need drones. They would have 75 health and do 20 DPS. They would work like the guided missile. It would be large, so it would be balanced. Monkey Andrew says his drone would have 75 HP and a bullet capacity of 25, 35, or 45, depending on rarity. Each bullet would do 1 to 5 damage. You cannot reload the drone, so use it wisely. The drone could be flown for 45, 65, or 75 seconds, again depending on the rarity. It could pick up stuff like bullets and materials, and there's an explosive variant that fires rockets that would be legendary. We've got some different ideas for an air drone here, a sort of recon drone, an attack drone, and a carrier drone, and some different ways in which they could work. After you hear the differences between the three, let me know which is your favorite. There are some other comments that mention an RC car, and I will be going over that idea in an upcoming video. In the background, you're seeing some solo gameplay of me dropping in on top of a mountain on the west side of the map. I've got a long way to walk afterwards. I get surprised by a couple people at the stadium along my way. I spot a giant ramp towards Pleasant. I take a gamble to go out of my way in hopes that there's a jump pad up there. On my way to beat the storm, I get stopped for almost too long. My only saving grace was a slurp potion. Sitting at 17 health, I make my trek past retail where I get a couple more kills. If you enjoy the gameplay, give the video a thumbs up to show your support. Let's first talk about how this thing would be deployed. The first idea mentioned was setting up a docking station as a trap item from where you would deploy the drone. Doing it this way would free up inventory space and make it more limited as to where you could deploy it from, which would be a balancing factor if the drone is pretty good. I like the idea of a trap. Not necessarily for the drone, but more for how you interact with it. It's almost like a portable vending machine in a way. Think about it. The idea mentions inputting metal to build a drone. The trap itself doesn't produce the drone, it only allows you to then input a resource to get something in return. Having a trap item like this sounds like a really cool idea. So you've got a docking station trap that you can input metal to build a drone as a deployment option. Another idea is to have a remote control. You open a chest and you find a remote control. This item gets added into your inventory. It comes with a drone, or maybe up to 3, let's say if they're not very good, or if they're only used for recon purposes maybe. Tab over to that inventory spot and press the button to use it. It would spawn in front of you. You could also pick up the drone as an item. You would toss it in the air and then control it as if you had the remote. It's just a visually different way of making it happen. Now that the drone is deployed, let's talk about how you're going to use it. The drone could be first person, or it could be a close view third person. I'm a fan of the third person as I think it fits Fortnite's current style. Also, when I picture this item, I picture the quad rotor drone from Black Ops 3 and how it functions. You've got your left analog stick that would move you left and right. Pressing up and down would make the drone fly higher or lower. Your right analog stick would change its orientation. The trigger buttons would be for different weapon types. The circle button would exit the drone, allowing you to take control of your character again. Any other buttons could be used for special abilities. For instance, maybe pressing X gives the drone a boost, or pressing the bumpers does a barrel roll. The D-pad buttons could zoom the camera in and out, or the triangle button could ping enemies on the map or pick up an item. There are two ways of doing this thing's range. You can literally make it have a range where there is a radius surrounding the control panel or the remote that you are controlling. Once you're outside of that radius, the drone becomes harder to control, and if you keep going farther out of the radius, then you can no longer control it. The other way would be to make it timed. This would work like the guided missile did. You can control it for a short amount of time. After the time is up, it would blow up, maybe doing 25 damage or maybe no damage at all. You could also combine the two ideas, increase the time you can control it, but give it a limited radius of where it can go. I think at the very least it needs to have some sort of timer so you can't just camp with it. I could see that being problematic. The amount of health this drone would have and the amount of damage output it would have, I think would be dependent upon its deployment range and its purpose. So let's go over the different types of drones that could be added. An attack drone, the basic and straightforward of the ideas. The exact specific stats could depend on a lot of factors, but let's generalize by saying the attack drone has 50 health and has 100 bullets. Each bullet does 3 damage. There's really a lot of things to consider here. How far can it fly? How fast can it go? What size is it? What's its fire rate? Etc, etc. The farther it can fly, the better it would be. It would be harder for an enemy to deduce where it's at if there's a larger area for you to use it. How fast it goes makes it harder to hit. How big it is would make it harder or easier to hit as well. The faster the fire rate, the better DPS it's going to have. 3 damage isn't a lot, but combine that with 100 bullets, that's a potential 300 damage. 50 health also isn't a lot, but if this thing is small and about twice the fast as running, it's going to be hard to hit. Assuming no one comes behind you while you're using the drone, you are never vulnerable to taking damage when fighting while controlling the drone. Plus, just the recon abilities this drone would give you of your surrounding area make it really good. So while 50 health and 3 damage doesn't sound like a lot, you've got to think about everything else going on. The next iteration of a drone is a Recon Drone. This ability is inherent of the drone already, but I say we capitalize on this aspect and see what other fun options we have at our disposal. Have you ever stalked an enemy, known where they came from, where they're headed, maybe even how competent they look or what weapons they're holding? Being able to scout out your opponents before an engagement is a huge advantage. Being able to scout out an entire area, including all the enemies within that area, is even better. What if you could zoom in and out with a camera, similar to how you would in the replay feature? Fly the drone high in the sky, but still be able to zoom in and see what's going down below. What if you could ping an area, have a flare that you can shoot out to help with callouts or to draw attention to a certain area of the map? Or ping an enemy with a laser that would show them to you on the minimap. Or maybe where you point the laser, it would mark a pinpoint on your minimap. I imagine this drone would have more health and last longer than the assault drone, as it has no lethal capabilities on its own. The last iteration I have for the drone is a Scavenger Drone, a drone that can be used to gather resources or pick up items. This one would also have no lethal capabilities. This one is used for the sole purpose of gathering resources and items. This drone outdoes the others in speed. This drone is quick, and it can get in and out and get the job done. You see a bunch of nice loot over there from that guy that just got domed from a sniper, but you know it is a bad idea to run over there. That's what this drone is for. Maybe it auto picks up items and resources and has a max capacity, or maybe you can press a button to pick up specific items like you would as your character. What other drone abilities could there be? I mentioned a barrel roll and boost ability. They could also have alternative fire modes like a burst fire or small, slow firing rockets. Maybe a radar jammer. I don't know. Leave your ideas in the comments below. I think a drone would be a great addition to Fortnite. The strategic advantages of Recon alone make this a good item, but how it's deployed and its range of use would really determine how well it functions within Fortnite. The last thing I would want is for someone to be able to hover this thing above their base for a long time and just camp with it. I think to combat that, once you put away the drone, you can't use the same one again. I also think its field of view and its third-person angle would have to be limited. That way maybe it's more advantageous to peek over your fort with your character than to camp with the drone above you. That's my only real concern. I think this could be a fun item and could have a lot of unique abilities for each of the different kind of drones. And again, the strategic advantage it would give you. Let me know which of the 3 drones is your favorite and any other thoughts on the drone idea in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay and commentary. Thumbs it up if you did. If you're new around here, subscribe for Fortnite and all things gaming. This has been Toast, and I'll see you on the next video.